welcome to Matera. I had just come from that overview over there. Okay, so what is that? It's basically prehistoric caves. Now, guys, please watch my episode on the, I think, 28 things to do in Cappadocia in Turkey, because we learned that those two were prehistoric caves from the age of the Hittites. Now, this is even older. Even older. Alright, so just imagine 38,000 years ago, almost 40,000 years ago, that thing over there in the distance, where it's not even buildings there, they're houses, it's just like little rock formations with caves. Those were the very first houses in the world. Well, not houses, because at that time nomads, or Homo sapiens, if you can call it that, were the very first, inhabitants of these caves, and they didn't even know, they didn't have a concept of what a house was like. So that was the very first. In fact, Matera is the oldest city in the world, together with Jericho and another one. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, I mean, you're gonna find in Google that it says like up until today, people are still living in these caves. Now, the biggest misconception is that those little caves right there, that people still live in them. No, it just means that just like in Cappadocia, a lot of the caves have been transformed, like to restaurants, to homes, to actual homes, and to hotels. So technically, you can still live in a cave. It's just that now it's been modernized. Hi! When you come to Italy, as I was saying, the Puglia is at the heel. So imagine the boot in the map of Italy. We're not at the very tip. I think that's Sicily. We are in, where are we? At the heel. We are at the heel of that boot. So it's just amazing, considering that Italy is not really a big country compared to other countries in the world. It has about over 150 UNESCO sites. And to think, I think there are about 170 plus all over the world. So you can imagine there's so much history that happened here in Italy. So it only makes sense that, like in this case, this is the oldest city in the world. So much has happened, has started, has revolutionized, has pioneered, a frontier, name the word, and it happened here in Italy. Food, fashion, the arts. So what else can I say about Matera? Well, from a Hollywood point of view, if you guys have actually watched the movie The Passion, which was directed by Mel Gibson, it was actually filmed here as well. And actually, in saying that, take a look in the back. If you can see the cross, which is, there's a cross right over there. And of course, in Italy, there's a billion churches. So you would expect that even in prehistoric communities, although that church was probably not built there during the prehistoric times, and it was just eventually built there, but of course, as any community evolves, eventually religion, which is about 5,000 years old compared to 38,000 years old, will eventually become a part of the community. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Whew. Oh, look, there's a doggy. There's two of them. Hello, darling. Okay, a little bit of a history lesson. So you see this photo? That's actually a photo, or a photo. Let's just put a photo of Jesus Christ. Now, you would think, oh, it's a temple that was made for Jesus Christ. Well, eventually, but this temple originally, remember what I said, prehistoric times. So this temple, at that time, like thousands and thousands of bajillion years ago, this was a temple that was dedicated to the sun. Because remember, the gods at that time were nature. After the sun, eventually when the Greeks came, and this temple was dedicated to the moon. And then when the Romans came, because the Romans were pagans, they dedicated this temple to the god of war. I forgot the name of the god of war. Anyway, it's flashed right there. And then when the Catholics came, that's when this temple was dedicated to Jesus. And there's a little thing right there where they would put a candle. So this was actually a very small church. Very nice. Very nice representation right there of what it looked like a cone spiraling up, hence all the stairs. So we actually came from up there, and then right behind me, those are the very first houses, prehistoric houses of all time. Wow, that's amazing. So here's a scoop for you. Okay, so we all know 15 years ago that The Passion came out. That movie was such a hit all over the world. Now Mel Gibson is actually back here in Bari. Now Bari is the capital of Puglia, and this time he is filming the movie The Resurrection of Christ. So that was The Passion, now it's The Resurrection. Apparently he's here right now, and they just started filming last week, and he's staying in Bari at the moment, in the main city center, which is where we're staying. And the other things that I learned, like, you know, Lady Gaga, her name is Maria Veronica, I think, or her Veronica, and she's also from Bari. So that is so interesting. So Madonna, well, Madonna's mom is actually from Bari as well. Who else is Italian? Well, not necessarily from Bari, but from Gwen Stefani, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. Like so many Italians who are making it in the world, and we don't even realize because we just refer to them as American. So I'm inside the Basilica of St. Nicholas here in Puglia, and it's actually one of the oldest Catholic churches in the world. And since Puglia is right, if you know that Italy is like the shape of a boot on the map, we're like right down below. So because we're near the water, we're by the water, we're also near other countries like Turkey, Greece, so on and so forth. And rather than this church make it like a Catholic church, it was actually open to everybody, which is a great thing. That's why outside the church you don't actually see a cross, because I guess a cross, or it's a label, and when you put a label it sort of puts restrictions to things. So they were trying to be open to everybody and also not to cause trouble, because you know, separation is never a good thing. This church is actually quite unique. It has influences of Greek Orthodox, of Russian Orthodox, of everything. And then the white stones that you see are actually from Puglia. Actually everywhere that you go around Puglia, you'll see a lot of these white stones, and it's actually quite beautiful. It's like simple all around, but still so intricate, with like the paintings up top, with the beautiful altars. Lovely. Now if you take a look at that painting, that's St. Nicholas right there. One of the problems that we have in religion right now, which is a really sad thing, is a lot of the figures that we see in the Bible or in history, like Jesus Christ, like Mother Mary, like St. Nicholas, everything has been westernized or made white by the Vatican. But actually St. Nicholas, he has dark skin. That's just what it is. Even Mother Mary, she is from the Middle East, so all those Mother Marys that have blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, it's not accurate. And so our perception of historical figures is also skewed. So I just came from downstairs at the tomb, and it was really beautiful. And remember how I was saying there's no cross in this church because they're trying to encourage that it's open for everybody? Well, this is the only church in the world where you will find a Russian Orthodox altar right across a Catholic altar, which is also right beside a Greek Orthodox altar. Sorry guys, I'm like losing my breath. That dates back to the Byzantine era, and today is actually Russian Orthodox Day. So it's nice that people who are coming are just praying to, it doesn't matter, it's just all coming together, and it's beautiful. So that's why I love traveling. It really does open your eyes. It broadens your perspectives only if you're willing to be open to the new information, or rather the original information, and that everything that we've been taught in school may not always be right, because everybody has their version of the truth. And sometimes when you go straight to the source, Well, it's also another version of the truth, but at least it broadens your horizons. If you didn't believe in Santa Claus, well, maybe you can skip the reindeer, but St. Nicholas, I can assure you, is very true. Because here in Myra, you will find the Church of St. Nicholas, at least the ruins. And it's here that we actually got to learn that the reason why he is now called like Santa Claus or Noel is because back in the day, he was very, very rich and he always wanted to help the poor. In fact, one story goes, there was his poor family and the father had 3 daughters. So the first daughter, of course, the eldest, wanted to get married, but they had no dowry to give the man, which was a tradition back in those days. So one night, Nicholas had thrown a bag of money into the window, and fast forward, the daughter got married. And then by the time the second daughter wanted to get married, he did exactly the same thing. He threw money in the window and voila, the second daughter was married. And by the time the youngest daughter wanted to get married, of course the father was expecting the money to come from somewhere anonymously, but he wanted to find out who it was. So he locked all the doors, he locked all the windows to see maybe he'll get to catch him. So Nicholas, instead, he had dropped off the money through the chimney, and the father was actually cleaning his boots, and that's how he saw the bag of money, which is why today during Christmas we have our stockings, which look like boots, and Santa Claus goes down the chimney. And there you go. One take, people. One take.
That's a lie.
So here are some of the frescoes that you're going to see at St. Nicholas Church. Over here on my left-hand side, as you see the boat, and those are the apostles. So all the apostles had walked in the water together with Jesus, but the one person that didn't get to was St. Peter because he had doubted, and Jesus said, "Do you not trust me?" Moving on. And this is where we find Angel Gabriel saying the good news to Mother Mary that she is going to be the Mother of God. And fast forward to, of course, we all know this, no matter what religion you are, we all know that this is the image of the crucifixion. And then over here, last but not the least, we have basically all throughout the church, there are a lot of frescoes of Jesus showing that he performed a lot of miracles. And here he was healing the sick. 5 takes.